You guys, Tan Photon Man, coming at you from a very long time with a Mermail deck profile. Now I do know that the format is coming to a close very shortly, but more or less it's just a filler until I can get hold of my camera and come back at you with my next deck profile and my regional report from that deck being played. But for the time being, I just figured it'd be nice to give some content showing that I am trying to come back with this channel and bring back some content. So I'll go ahead and get started. As you all saw, I do play the one Moulinglacia because I love ripping my opponent's hand apart. I think it's very, very powerful for the game right now. Just really minimizing what they can do on their first turn, and going on with that, the one lead to continue ripping their cards out. Now I do play 2 Megalo. Personally, I like it at 2, but I do see people play it at 3. Honestly, it's personal choice. Next would be the 3 Teus. Teus is just an excellent starter and can really generate your OTK combo very, very quickly, depending on how you open. Usually your Teus and your Dragoon is incredibly powerful in instant OTK almost always. Of course there are certain situations, but regardless. Moving on to the 4s, I play the 2 Pike just for, searching and adding those material, and depending on my certain discards, removing cards or just getting a secondary search. My last 4 being the 1 Turge, just because I like recycling my material. I do like versatility with this deck, and I think it's very important. And I do like being able to go through a grind game when I don't open up that OTK, more or less just because I don't like building this deck around one play and only one play. I think that's where the deck sees a lot of failure. And I think being able to have a wide range of options available other than going make Neptabyss OTK is just a better option. Personally, this is my favorite way to play this deck. Other people have their own opinions, but this is how I do things. Going on, I do play the 3 guns, more or less because she gets her effect off anytime she gets discarded, and like I said, the versatility, recyclability, and just recovery factor of having this card, especially with things like Twin Twister, is just very beautiful. And I think it just keeps the deck going in a long run. It can be a dead draw at certain times, but again, with cards like Twin Twister and Pike, Turge, etc., I feel like it's easier to work around her potential clogginess. But of course, player preference is always there. I do play the 2 Linde, again, versatility. I do like having more than one option, but most people don't even play her anymore. Personally, I still like her. Moving on from that, 2 Dragoons, because searching, and Neptabyss, removal, and again, and removal. Some people will play 3 and 2 or 1 and 2. I still like the 2-2 ratio, just because it gives me more options, and they're just extra water targets, so I don't really have to worry about running out of resources too quickly. And now for the best of the best, Neptabyss, the OTK Prince. Moving on from that, the 1 card Trish, the Undine for Neptabyss and other utilities, and of course the tuner that goes alongside her. Moving on for the spells, I do play the Instant Fusion, giving me extra access to, my Ring 4s, primarily Bahamut Shark, getting into Toad. 2 Twin Twister, this will be bumped up to 3. The 3rd is replaced with a space right now, but of course, eventually 3. 2 Dark Hole, again, when I get another raigeki to replace, one of these will come out. And then 1 Soul Charge, again, recovery, recyclability, and OTK negation factor. Secondary search target, the Lindes and this in itself, or maybe not even this, can always come out for other scales that you can search off with Megalo. If I were to change anything, maybe take out the sphere and the 2 Linde and put in 2 more scales and another Megalo. But currently, I like the way this goes. I haven't really had much failure. I've had very much success with this deck pretty much any time I've played it. It's absolutely my favorite going forward, and the Bottomless for the pendulum matchups and dealing with problem monsters. Moving on for the extra deck, I do play the Gaios for dealing with problem cards. I apologize for the glare, or not, well, both the glare and the lighting. But moving on, 1 Draco, just because I do like the spot removal, and in certain cases this can actually be pretty hard to get around, especially if it's like late game grind where nobody has resources, more or less like, you know, just top deck and try and beat into things. This is a good way to outgrind your opponent and just remove those problem cards. Again, dealing with problem cards, you know, punishing the opponent for trying to go too overboard, especially if they survive that OTK. If you've managed to keep another 7 on board, or you just really were able to explode with that, you know, pushing through with that extra damage and then just dropping this main phase 2 is very, very powerful and very punishing, and can very easily steal games. Bahamut Shark, you know, 2 targets in the deck, 1 being Trident, totally awesome, but, you know, all around a beat stick and so on. Just a better trite, and it's incredibly powerful, just being able to bring back any water. It's amazing. Dealing with problem cards, shutting down the opponent, versatility, shutting down the opponent. Now this one is temporary until I can get another Trishula. The other one's currently being played in another deck, and it's being borrowed at the time being. But of course, I would play Trish over this, especially because I'm playing Diva, but this is a substitute for the time. In certain situations, I'm able to make this off of Diva and some 4s, but yeah, it's not optimal. The Gungnir, a lot of people don't even play this anymore. I will always play this card, 1, just because I like the possibility of, you know, making my opponent neg 4 depending on my setup, and then this being a gift from a really, really good friend and a close Yu-Gi-Oh buddy of mine. I have already told him this card will never come out of the extra deck no matter what. This is just a personal treasure for me, and I love what it can do. A lot of people sleep on it, I think, but you know, that's just me. Moving on, the 1 Clear Wing, just because it puts a lot of pressure, and it's really nice to deal with some of those problematic, you know, effects and you know, things like that. It's a really powerful card that a lot of people have replaced with Crystal Wing, and you know, both are equally powerful in their own merits. Moving on, for the Quick Tuner and the Synchro Vitality, I guess would be the right word I'm looking for, probably not, but Tatsunoko, and then lastly the Instant Fusion target for Norden. Beyond that, I don't really have a side deck prepped. More or less, it's just what your current locals is looking like. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Sometime Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, I will be posting another deck profile and following along with that my regional report from this upcoming event. And you know, hopefully everything goes great and I have excellent news to bring back for anybody who actually does still follow and pay attention, even though it's been about a year. For anybody who was patient enough to wait, I appreciate it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for now. Tantan to Photon Man, signing out.